Okay guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. Alright guys, I'm back and it is Friday, May 29th, and it's 9:03 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, I have committed myself tonight to get caught up on the Q post, but I also have other news. I'm just going to go tonight until I can't go any further. So I hope you're all doing well. And those of you that can't watch that many videos in a row, well, it'll be there tomorrow for you. So let's get into this. Now, first, I do want to thank a few people because it's important. The following donated via coffee, Knows Little 2 and Space Chick 7. I love that name, Space Chick. I don't know why, I just love it. Anyway, thank you guys. I appreciate that. And we picked up some new Patreon supporters. Sorry, I've got a rambunctious cat here. Of course, they sleep all day, and then when I want to do my show, they run around and make noise and knock things over. Anyway, we picked up 4 new Patreon supporters. Mark V, Lawrence M, Lisa V S, and Mike V. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And it's always good to have new Patreon subscribers. And it's always good when people donate via coffee too. So thank you guys so much. And we're going to go right into Q. Now, of course, I'm behind, as you know, with my father-in-law this week. It's been a really rough, I don't know why I just called him my father-in-law. He is my stepfather, more like a real father to me, though. He is an absolute gem of a man, and he's been very ill. I've had to take him to the hospital twice, including once yesterday, and that is why I didn't post. It took me longer, and by the time I got home, I was exhausted, and I still had things to do around here. So I got caught up on that stuff so that tonight I can get caught up on Q, and tomorrow as well. So let's just go and I'll go in for about an hour and then I'll break, and because I don't think I can cover all the Q posts in an hour. I just don't think I can, but I can always try. So let's go on here, and of course I do want to get to some of the news too, because my gosh, some of the news is absolutely critical to get to. So I just pray for my voice that it holds out. All right. So right now we are on drop 4323. Like I said, I've got some catching up to do here, but I'm picking up exactly from where I left off in the last Q video that I did. So this is Grinnell's letter to Senator Warner, Democrat. Cities Executive Order 13526, classifications can't be used to cover up crimes. Remember when we read that about how they could not classify something in order to cover up a crime? Well, that's exactly what Obama did. It now comes out. So let's go and take a look at this. And below this, it says these people are stupid. Q. Well, he repeats that, and I think we're all starting to believe him that these people really are stupid because they do some asinine things. Okay, so this person, Sissy Q, says, just like QAnon told us. So let's see here what she is talking about. Now, this is an older Q post, September 15th, 2018, and it says, Executive Order 13526, Section 1.7, classification prohibits and limitations. A, in no case shall information be classified or continue to be maintained as classified or fail to be declassified in order to 1. Conceal violations of the law, inefficiency, or administrative error. 2. Prevent embarrassment to a person, organization, or agency. 3. Restrain competition. Or 4. Prevent or delay the release of information that does not require protection in the interest of national security. And certainly what Obama classified, it was not classified in the interest of national security. It was classified in order to conceal a violation of the law, which that's against the law. So down below, we see Whitaker, in conjunction with OIG, Office of Inspector General, approved the release of classified documents 1 to 4 as requested by the House Committee as ordered by the President of the United States. Will the release occur prior to scheduled, and I don't know what the rest of that says because it's cut off. And let's go to the testimony. Okay, so let's go back here. Will the release occur prior to scheduled testimony? List advantages. Will the release occur post-scheduled testimony? List advantages. If those terrifying no select classified documents will become public. Self-incrimination. How might that alter, change their testimony? DC has become rat infested. Well, indeed it has. Executive Order 13526, Section 1.7, classification, prohibitions, and limitations. In no case shall information be classified, continue to be maintained as classified, or fail to be classified in order to conceal violations of law, efficiency, or administrative error, what we just read, prevent embarrassment to a person, organization, or agency, restrain competition, or prevent or delay the release of information that does not require protection in the interest of national security. So if that information is not being protected in the interest of national security, then why is it being protected? Is it to prevent embarrassment? Is it because of administrative error? Or does it conceal violations of the law or inefficiency? Well, we know what the answer to that is. That's why Obama classified, and possibly others, classified information. And it says information, okay, does UK stand with the US or only select divisions within the US? Does Australia stand with the US or only select divisions with the US? Will immediate actions be publicly taken within each country to reunify the bond that was once held prior to classified 9? Koala, I'm not sure exactly what that is discussing, but we know that, you know, the Five Eyes nations did help Obama in his spy missions. And, you know, so Q was asking here, is this, do these countries only have relationships with the deep state, just that part of the government, and not the government per se as a whole? All right, so that is that, and I think that is it for that post. Let's go back, and Q says these people are stupid, and let's come down here. And Lisa Mae Crowley says, as more declassified docs are released, we see plenty of violations of this executive order from the Hussein administration and prior administrations. Mark Warner doesn't want these documents declassified. Well, now you know why. So, Sun2Q says, Anon pointing out, Q told us the purpose of the law allowing classification did not contemplate concealing crimes. So when they made that executive order about classifications, they didn't contemplate that someone would use that to conceal crimes, which they evidently have. All right, and now we're on to the next. And yes, I am taking off my socks. I am one of those people that would constantly go barefoot if I could, and sockless. So there they go. Okay, now I can do a much better job without socks on. This is just a fact. All right, so now we're on to drop 4324, bombshell. Planned Parenthood officials admit under oath to selling aborted body parts. And of course, we've known this for a very long time. Those of us that have been following Q, we know that that's what they've been doing. And of course, there was the, was it Project Veritas, I believe, that had uncovered that, the videos. So let's go take a look at what Q is wanting us to look at here. All right. Breaking, multiple Planned Parenthood officials have admitted under oath to trafficking the body parts and organs of babies they slaughtered. These are criminal acts, no doubt. And that is, now there is because Q led us to the tweet, I don't think that it's necessary to go out to the actual article, because usually if Q wants us to read the entire article, he will link to the article directly. So bombshell, Planned Parenthood officials admit under oath to selling aborted baby parts. New Center for Medical Progress video shows the under oath testimony of multiple Planned Parenthood officials admitting to selling body parts. It's alarming. It's alarming, really. It's one thing to abort a baby. It's another to sell its parts. That's quite disconcerting, to say the very, very least. All right, let's go back. And here, Lisa Mae Crowley says Planned Parenthood sold fetal body parts, commodifying living children in the womb and treating pregnant women like a cash crop, which is exactly what they did. The older the baby, the more profit they make from body parts or organs. This is why the Democrats block Born Alive bill. Planned Parenthood, in turn, donates big money to Democrats. And that's exactly what happens. That's exactly what happens. They donate big money into the Democratic coffers, and yet, and then, of course, they expect them to, in turn, stand by legislation which benefits Planned Parenthood. So, Sun Q2 said Q told us about Planned Parenthood trafficking in baby body parts and organs over 2 years ago. Congressional investigation spearheaded by conservatives finally coming to fruition. These people are serial killers and Satanists. Sick. Oh, very. Now, let's come down to the next post, 4325, 26th of May. War. The Democratic Party and their allies have launched a full-scale insurgency. Now, if you doubt that, all you need to do is look at the headlines from yesterday and today, and you will see we are indeed at war. So we have the beautiful American flag here, and underneath, Q says the following. Democrats, in coordination with domestic and foreign assets, have launched, as known, a full-scale insurgency attack against the people of the United States in an effort to regain power by any means necessary. All assets deployed. Current landscape, coordinated and deliberate events to impact, rig the presidential election. War. The future of our republic is at stake. Survival as a nation. We rise or we die. We, the people. Q. Now, there is plenty of evidence to suggest that the riots in Minnesota are being helped, incited by paid demonstrators. They are the ones that are burning and looting and pillaging. They're the ones that start it. And of course, others join in. But I think these events that we've seen are perhaps FFs. And we all know what that means. All right. So, and we will be talking about that more when we get into the news portion, which will probably be mainly tomorrow, because it's going to take me a while to catch up on Q. But if I can get through this and get a news video off, I will, because there's very, very critical things happening, and it's important to pay attention, because there are so many details that it's extremely easy to miss some of them. Anyway, let's go on now, and we are on drop 4326. 4326. We're in for one hell of a show. Yes, it appears that way. And this Anon says, that's what this Anon says. We're in for one hell of a show. And Q, beneath, by doing this, acknowledges that he has read and agrees. Because if he disagreed, then he would say so. That's the way it works. All right. Now, Lisa Mae Crowley says, honestly, I'm at a loss as to what more we can do other than hammer away with the truth, counter fake news, disobey fascist edicts, protest, call our representatives, etc. If they try to force mandatory vaccinations, they will have a war on their hands. POTUS can't let that happen. Q, repost this post. We are with you. And POTUS Q, Dems have deployed all assets, foreign and domestic, and launched an attack against us. All assets deployed. They are attempting to impact and steal the election by the current happenings. This is it. We rise or we die. It's only going to get worse before the election, patriots, unless we begin to see a few major arrests. Buckle up. Yeah, I don't think this is for the faint of heart. And things are really heating up. I mean, I noticed that the news is really attacking QAnon followers and, just everything with the riots. And now I just was reading before I started here that there's several cities now where the riots are starting up tonight. And as well, the White House is on lockdown. Not good at all. So this is getting really, really out of hand. Of course, they have arrested the officer that was responsible, if he is an officer, and that will make more sense to you when I bring the rest of the news. But yeah, I have my doubts now because of new information that's coming out. All right. So let's go to the next, and we are on drop 4327, 4327. Scientific study finds virus has unique properties, as in unnatural properties, and was likely manipulated by China. Well, I think we know that already. Now, of course, they're all trying to counter that. The fake stream news, they are all trying to counter that and say, no, it's from bats, and no, it isn't. And I read articles right at the beginning of this that convinced me there is no possible way this is a naturally occurring virus. So let's go out to where Q wants us to go here and take a look. All right, this from the Washington Times. And a forthcoming Australian scientific study concludes that the CV causing the global pandemic contains unique properties, suggesting it was manipulated in a Chinese lab and was not the result of a natural occurrence. 5 scientists who conducted the study discovered an unusual ability of the SARS-CoV-2 virus as the pathogen behind COVID-19 is called to easily infect humans. So, this virus has an unusual ability to infect humans. The scientists said there is no sign so far that the virus can be found in other animals, including bats or the exotic wildlife sold for fresh meat at the market in the Chinese city of Wuhan, where the virus was first identified and where China maintains a major laboratory studying such viruses. Now, the preliminary report of the study, which is now being peer-reviewed, is based on computer modeling of the virus's ability to infect various animals, including humans. It was first published May 13th on the Cornell University website, which is used for discussion of pre-publication papers. Nikolai Petrovsky, the lead researcher, said the team suspects human manipulation in Wuhan because of the unmatched ability of the virus's protruding spike to infect human cells. The virus's binding strength for human cells far exceeds similar properties for infecting other animals, he said in a statement on the forthcoming report. Thus, plus the fact that no corresponding virus has been found to exist in nature leads to the possibility that COVID-19 is a human-created virus, said Mr. Petrovsky, a professor at the College of Medicine and Public Health at Flinders University in Adelaide, Australia. So very interesting. Not anything that we don't know already. I think we all know that, really. But Q is, again, there's a lot of people that are coming onto, the Q train that are new. And I think it's important for him to keep repeating some things such as this, because there are new people constantly coming aboard. And the more the media talks about it and against it, the more people it seems that join it, because it does draw attention to it. It's negative attention, but it sometimes serves the opposite effect. So let's go on here. And Lisa May Crowley says, Nikolai Petrovsky, the lead researcher, said his team suspects human manipulation because of the unmatched ability of the virus's protruding spike to infect human cells. Can we please arrest those behind this already? Yes, I agree. They should be charged with mass murder. So should Cuomo. That's my opinion. Also, and you know why, because he deliberately put infected people into nursing homes with the most vulnerable population that there is. And it resulted in the death of many elderly people needlessly. And who are they to say that their lives don't mean anything? I remember my grandmother, she was 86, I believe, and she had, her kidneys were failing. They took her to the hospital and they said, no, we're not treating this. And because, she's lived a good life. Well, my mom and, we pitched a fit, and they did finally treat her, and she lived another, 6 years. Well, she didn't have any health problems after that. She lived them well and happy. So who are they to say, those 6 years mean nothing? And what about these elderly people? They may have had years left. I'm sure they had people that loved them. And just because they're in a nursing home doesn't mean their lives are over. And, who knows how many years they may have had left if they weren't deliberately murdered, and they were. That's what I maintain. That is my opinion. All right, so Sun Q2 says, we know this, but will the public recognize that the CD design was manipulated by scientists, or will it be drowned out by more false flags and fake news? And that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing right now. They're trying to take attention away. They're trying to start a race war. They have been meaning to do that for many years. I heard from somebody that I now realize was connected to some very powerful people, that was what they had planned for the future, is a race war. And it looks like they continually try to do that. But here's the thing. People are a whole lot less racist than you hear about on the news. I lived in North Carolina, I lived in South Carolina, and I lived in Louisiana. And I'll tell you, the blacks that I knew were the nicest people you would ever want to meet. The ones I knew. And they would do anything for you. In fact, during the hurricane, there was one of my neighbors, a great big strapping black man that you would honestly, maybe if you saw him in a back alley, be afraid of, because he was big, strong, and he just looked like he could do damage. But the nicest man. During the hurricane, the fence fell on my car. He went out, and I went out, and he said, I'll hold the fence so you can back your car up, because when the rest of the fence fell, it would have crushed my car. So he saved my car. And the same thing with some of my neighbors were absolutely phenomenal people. And I didn't see racism in them. And I didn't see, I saw some racism in whites and some in blacks, but not to the degree that we're told that it happens. I've had black friends ever since I moved to the States. Now, where I'm living here, there's just not as much cultural diversity here. Yeah, I just don't think that racism is as much of a problem as they would like us to believe, because they're constantly shoving it down our throat. Constantly. But when you get out in the real world, you don't see that. You really don't. I think a lot of it is manufactured. I'm not saying racism doesn't exist. It definitely does. But I'm saying it's not nearly the problem that they make it out to be. And then it's helped along by people who incite this stuff. So that's where I stand. If you disagree, let me know, because I do want to be sensitive. And I don't want to say something, because you know what? I can't, as a white person, tell you how an African American feels. Perhaps they are completely opposed to what I said. And I would like to know that, because I do want to be sensitive to that, because my experience may not be the norm. I don't know. But I would like to know. I know some of them experience racism. I experienced that the most in North Carolina, believe it or not, because I lived in probably one of the worst racist counties in the United States, and that's Wilkes County. I loved it. The people were good, but it was racist. No doubt about that. So anyway, let's go on here and come down here to drop 4328. It's all about the election. This virus is just the ruse to push for fraudulent vote by mail. And I think we've already come to that conclusion, because Q keeps telling us, is this about the virus or is it about the election? And of course, we know it's about the election. Everything is about the election right now in America, really, everything. So if you think something's happening and you think, such as the riots, oh, that's not related. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. They are inciting people to violence. What that officer did, if it was an officer, and I certainly have my doubts, I think it was a CIA hitman. I do. Anyway, and we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But probably not today, maybe tomorrow. But I'm just saying that that was out and out murder. It was out and out murder. So anyway, it's all about the election. The virus is just the ruse to push for fraudulent vote by mail. Was this ever about the health and well-being of people? Was this ever about the virus? Or was this always about the election? So let's go out and see this, which Q has left this link for us to view. And yeah, and then we have this little tart. Nancy Pelosi, voting at home shouldn't be a question of politics. It's a health issue. No American should have to choose between their protecting their health and exercising their right to vote. Now, I did cover this actually in one of my last videos. I'm quite certain I did. So, but I'll play this. It's 1 minute and 3 seconds. I'm sorry to have to inflict this upon you, but you can blame Q because Q provided the link.
California Democratic Party, I can tell you, Republicans have always enjoyed much success with vote by mail. The absentee ballots have never been a good moment for us over time. So they know how to use the mail for their voting. And there's no scientific study that says one party or the other benefits from it. But this is now a health issue. We talk about saving the lives, testing the livelihood, the economy, and the life of our democracy. Vote by mail. Now people have to choose between their health and their vote. That shouldn't be the case. We should always be removing obstacles of participation to the vote. That is the sacred right of our democracy to vote. Remove obstacles. But at a time of the health of a pandemic, even more important to give people an option that is not a risk to their lives as well.
So let me get this straight. You know, you're perfectly safe to go to Walmart. You're perfectly safe to go shopping. Things are opening up. even here now, slowly. So you're okay to go to Walmart and practice safe distancing and whatever, but if you vote, you're going to die. Fear-mongering. That's what this is. It's fear-mongering. And she knows as well as anybody else that the Democrats, are the winners when you have vote by mail, because all of the ballot harvesting and all of the shenanigans that go on, we know because we saw it live and in person in the midterm elections. All right, let's go back and continue on. And here, Sun Q2 says, why does Q continue to repeat himself? Coach John Wooden, the 8 laws of learning are explanation, demonstration, imitation, repetition, 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 repetition. So that is what Q is doing. He is teaching us, he is opening our eyes to things that I didn't pay attention to a lot of this stuff before. I sure do now. So yeah, it's all about educating. And as well, there are always new people coming on board who are kind of lost. So that is why. All right, now we are on to drop 4329, and Cuomo granted immunity to nursing home executives after big money campaign donation. Now, I covered this in a news segment that I did in not yesterday, but the day before. So this is something that we've already visited. If you're a longtime listener or a regular listener, you've already heard this anyway. But yeah, so let's take a look here. Cuomo granted immunity to nursing home executives after big money campaign donation. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, who signed legislation granting hospitals and nursing home executives immunity from lawsuits related to the novel coronavirus last month, previously received a big money boost from a powerful healthcare industry group, according to a new report. An article published on the socialist website Jacobin and republished by The Guardian reports that the New York State Democratic Committee, then backing Cuomo's primary run in 2018, received more than $1 million from the Greater New York Hospital Association, a lobbying group for hospital systems, some of which own nursing homes. The donation made the group one of the state's party's largest contributors in that cycle. 3 of these hospital associations' top officials separately gave more than $150,000 to Cuomo's campaign between 2015 and 2018. The outlet reported the donation is not drawing scrutiny after Cuomo signed legislation last month that protects executives from lawsuits, just as he is under continued criticism for his March 25th order, since deleted, but we have it, requiring nursing homes to take in COVID-19 patients. And here is the other link that Q has left. I've just conveniently clipped it out for us. New York officials have scrubbed Governor Andrew Cuomo's March 25th order requiring nursing homes to take in COVID-19 patients from the state health department website, even as Cuomo's office insists that the order, which has been linked to thousands of nursing home deaths, remains in effect. The webpage that once contained the order now directs to a page indicating that the file is not found. The archive indicates that the deletion occurred sometime after May 5th, around the time that criticism over New York's nursing home facilities intensified. A copy of the page saved by the Internet Archive Wayback Machine, however, shows that Cuomo's order stated no resident shall be denied readmission or admission to the NH nursing home solely based on a confirmed or suspected diagnosis of COVID-19. NHS nursing homes are prohibited from requiring a hospitalized resident who is determined medically stable to be tested for COVID-19 prior to admission or readmission. And let's find this deleted, using the Wayback Machine. And March 25th, from the office of Andrew M. Cuomo, Governor, and Howard A. Zucker, Commissioner, and Sally Dresden, Executive Deputy Commissioner. March 25th, to nursing home administrators, directors of nursing, and hospital discharge planners from the New York State Department of Health. Advisory: hospital discharges and admissions to nursing homes. Please distribute immediately to nursing home administrators, directors of nursing, directors of social work, hospital discharge planners. COVID-19 has been detected in multiple communities throughout New York State. There is an urgent need to expand hospital capacity in New York State to be able to meet the demand for patients with COVID-19 requiring acute care. As a result, this directive is being issued to clarify expectations for nursing homes receiving residents returning from hospitalization and for nursing homes accepting new admissions. Hospital discharge planning staff and nursing homes should carefully review this guidance with all staff directly involved in resident admission, transfer, and discharges during this global health emergency. Hang on here. All nursing homes must comply with the expedited receipt of residents returning from hospitals to nursing homes. Residents are deemed appropriate to return to a nursing home upon a determination by the hospital physician or designee, and the resident is medically stable for return. Hospital discharge planners must, that word's important. Hospital discharge planners must confirm to the nursing home. Okay, this isn't what I thought it was. Sorry. By telephone that the resident is medically stable for discharge. Comprehensive discharge instructions must be provided by the hospital prior to the transport of a resident to the nursing home. No residents shall be denied readmission or admission to nursing home. This is very important. No resident, meaning no resident, shall be denied readmission or admission to the nursing home solely based on a confirmed or suspected diagnosis of COVID-19. Nursing homes are prohibited from requiring a hospitalized resident who is determined medically stable to be tested for COVID-19 prior to admission or readmission. This is diametrically opposed to what Cuomo said on TV not that long ago in a press conference where, well, the onus is on the nursing home to let us know if they can't take the patient or they don't have PPE. And yet this doesn't give them that option. Says no resident shall be denied readmission or admission. So information for healthcare providers on COVID-19 is readily available on New York State Department of Health public website. As always, standard precautions must be maintained and environmental cleaning made a priority during this public health emergency. Critical personal protective equipment needs should be immediately communicated to your local Office of Emergency Management with the appropriate information provided at the time of request. So anyway, that is something different, but yeah, you can see by this wording that these nursing homes weren't given an option. It's not like they could say, no, we can't take them. And yet there were lots of hospital beds empty. There was was it the Comfort that was there? That there is, what I'm saying is there's no evidence to suggest that that was necessary. But there is evidence to suggest that it was premeditated murder, which I believe it is. I don't think there's any question, not in my mind anyway. There may be in yours, and that's all right. We're different, and we think differently about things sometimes, but yeah, I think it's out and out murder. So this says, if elderly, most at risk, knowingly, why order COVID-19 positive patients back into nursing homes? Hospital capacity, USNS comfort capacity, Ignorant, A, or deliberate, B? Definitely B, because there were lots of empty hospital beds, and that you had the USNC, the USNS Comfort. So why they needed to put these people, these COVID positive people, in a nursing home, back in a nursing home with the most vulnerable population, is beyond me. The only explanation is it is murder. Accountability options outside other than ballot box. Accountability options outside other than ballot box. I'm not exactly sure what he means by that line, but let's come down here. And Lisa May Crowley says, link 1, premeditated mass murder. Cuomo gave NH nursing home executives immunity from lawsuits after hefty campaign donations. 2, link 2, they deleted the order to nursing homes. Now, why did they do that? Because Cuomo was on air lying to the public, boldly lying to the public, saying, well, you know, it was up to the nursing homes. So he then blames the nursing homes after he ordered them to take the COVID patients. Piece of work, isn't he? Link 3, plenty of beds on the USNS Comfort and Javits Center. Yeah, absolutely. There was no reason to do this. There was no reason other than they wanted these people to die. And Sun Q2, we understand this, but the question, what is POTUS going to do about it? Are we going to see the unsealing of indictments and arrests before November? Is a D-class sufficient to wake the public up? I don't think it is. I think arrests have to occur to wake them up, criminally charged and arrested for murder and conspiracy to commit murder. This is as sick as it gets. Yeah, it is. What kind of a monster wants to kill old people? Seriously. Same kind of monsters that want to kill babies, I guess. Cuomo wanted to expand the narrative that COVID-19 was spreading rapidly by making sure it spread through the elderly in the nursing home. Unbelievable. I personally think it's time for the elite to be exposed for all the child sex trafficking, rapes, and sacrifices. I think the public needs to be shocked and outraged before the election occurs. A clear delineation needs to be made about who these people are before November. I agree. And we are on to drop 4330. Your voice and your vote are what matters most. And Q says, your voice and your vote are what matters most. Witnessing attempts to remove both. And by both, he means they are attempting to remove both your voice and your vote. 1, censorship, fascism, authoritarian. 2, deplatform, removal, silence. Yeah, if they can deplatform you and remove you off of social media, then they can silence you, right? And that's exactly what they've been doing. 3, mail-in vote fraud, dilute. So they dilute your vote by, they just flood with Democrat votes. Watered down constitutional rights, freedom of speech, not anymore. Willfully blind or willfully accepting, Q. So, Lisa May says, not sure what else we can do other than continue to counter their lies. Red pill family members, friends, co-workers, and neighbors contact our representatives, vote, pray, and trust POTUS has a plan to ensure their plans don't succeed and guilty parties are held accountable for their crimes. Sun Q2 says, we understand this, but the question, what is POTUS going to do about it? Are we going to see the unsealing of indictments and arrests before November? Is a D-class sufficient to wake the public up? I don't think it is. Think arrests have to occur to wake them up. And now we are on drop 4331. We're making good time. John Brennan, Obama's CIA director, manipulated intel on Russian interference in the 2016 election. Now, I know we are aware of that, but let's look at this. Now, hang on here. This link I've clipped out for us to save a little bit of time. Intelligence was manipulated by Brennan. Watch the news. Q. Now, this is the link. Trump's keyboard warriors get the story while the legacy media ignores Obamagate. CrowdStrike, the forensic investigation firm hired by the Democratic National Committee, DNC, to inspect its computer servers in 2016, admitted to congressional investigators as early as 2017 that it had no direct evidence of Russian hacking, recently declassified documents show. CrowdStrike's president, Sean Henry, testified there's not evidence that documents and emails were actually exfiltrated from the DNC servers. There's circumstantial evidence, but no evidence that they were actually exfiltrated. This was a crucial revelation because the thousand ships of Russiagate launched upon the positive assertion that CrowdStrike had definitely proven a Russian hack. And that's true. Let me read that again because I didn't read it properly. This was crucial revelation because of thousands of ships of Russiagate launched upon the positive assertion that CrowdStrike had definitely proven a Russian hack, which they had not. The sworn admission has been hidden from the public for over 2 years, and subsequent commentary has focused on that singular outrage. The next deductive step, though, leads to an equally crucial point. Circumstantial evidence of Russian hacking is itself flimsy and collapses when not propped up by a claim of conclusive forensic testing. The cover-up. On March 19th, 2016, Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman, John Podesta, collective eye roll, surrendered his emails to an unknown entity in a spear phishing scam. This has been called a hack, but it was not. Instead, it was the sort of flim-flam hustle that happens to gullible dupes on the internet. The content of the, I think, wasn't he the one whose password was password? Yeah, that's like, I mean, anybody that's been on a computer for more than maybe 10 minutes, maybe, 6 months a year is enough time to learn that you don't make your password. Anyway, the content of the emails was beyond embarrassing. They showed election fraud and coordination with the media against the candidacy of Bernie Sanders. The DNC and the Clinton campaign needed a cover story. There already existed in Washington a brooding suspicion that Vladimir Putin was working to influence elections in the West. The DNC and the Clinton campaign set out to retrofit that supposition to explain the emails. On January 16, 2016, a silk-stalking Washington, D.C. think tank, the Atlantic Council, remember that name, had issued a dispatch under the banner headline, U.S. intelligence agencies to investigate Russia infiltration of European political parties. Now, let's come down here. And it says Brennan was quarterback regarding CrowdStrike framing Russia. The recent CrowdStrike testimony drop ended any chance at middle ground. This was a rank political operation, and indicting a few FBI agents is not going to resolve anything. And Sun Q2 says Tyler Durden at Zero Hedge did a great job summarizing how the Dems, namely Brennan, manipulated intel to make it appear Russians hacked DNC server in an effort to aid Trump campaign when evidence pointed to another source. Q says, watch news about Brennan. Well, we know for a fact, because of Q, that Brennan's going down. We know that he is one that will be charged with treason. All right. Okay, so let's come down to the next. We are on drop 4332, the Declaration of Independence. Let me make this a little bit bigger because I'm having trouble reading it. Alrighty. Okay, and it says, we hold these truths to be, and this is by an Anon actually that posted this. Do you believe? Yes. We are still on the 27th of May. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men and women, deriving their just powers from the consent of the government, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Remember this, Q? And Q acknowledges that he has read and agrees. All right, and Sun Q2 said, this is Q's answer to the 4329 post about other accountability options. Mere criminal charges and ballot box voting may not be enough to overthrow the tyrannical deep state monsters that have infiltrated our government. I think POTUS prefers that we vote these traitors out of office, but are we at the point where more drastic measures must take place before November 2020 election? I think there are contingency plans in place if it appears there is no way to ensure a fair and free election. I still think arrests of these traitors need to take place before the election to wake the public up. POTUS and Q may surprise us all before the elections. Yeah, they probably will. They probably will, because Q has continued to say that the elections are safe. They don't appear safe to me. They probably don't appear safe to you either. So I don't know what they have up their sleeve, but I would assume that it's something. All right, and we are on drop 4333, 4333. Well, hello. And it says, well, there's a link here. And it says, when do you expend ammunition? Hillary Rodham Clinton, direct attack regarding Q. Why? 2,200 plus attack MSDNC articles written, pushed in past 2 years. Control of narrative, threat, logical thinking, information, warfare. And this says, what utter garbage, as were all 2,200 plus other hit pieces. Pizzagate preceded Q's first drop by a year. They're trying to paint Ratcliffe as another QAnon conspiracy theorist to muddy the truth. He will be declassifying and releasing regarding Obamagate. And she says, bunch of damn losers. And Sun Q2 says the fake news expend ammunition on Q and Anons because they are a threat to their monopoly on setting the narrative for the public. They know their time is short. 2,200 plus hit pieces attacking Q. Quite a bit for a bunch of irrelevant conspiracy nuts. Perkins for U.S. Senate really scares them. She was one of the first, if not the first outwardly Q-promoting patriots to be elected to a national office. There will be many more to come. I do believe that. Now let's go take a look at this. And this is what Q has provided us to look at. So let's.
Administration's latest director of national intelligence, John Ratcliffe, is now 24 hours into his new job. The former Republican congressman was sworn in yesterday, but his nomination and confirmation didn't come without controversy and pushback from Democrats. Earlier this month, reports pointed out that his now defunct official campaign Twitter account followed other accounts linked to QAnon, an online conspiracy theory group. It's unclear if it was Ratcliffe or others with access to his Twitter feed following those accounts. As Ratcliffe leaves Congress, other candidates itching to get to Capitol Hill also appear to have connections to QAnon, including Oregon Republican Senate nominee Joe Ray Perkins.
Where we go one, we go all. I stand with President Trump. I stand with Q and the team. Thank you, Anons, and thank you, Patriots, and together we can save our republic.
Okay, I'm going to stop that there. This is 8 minutes, and I'm not going to play all 8 minutes, but let's read the summary here. QAnon conspiracy theories growing influence on American politics. In a now deleted online video, Oregon Republican Senate candidate Joe Ray Perkins touted QAnon, an online conspiracy theory group, on the night she won the primary. Other candidates also have ties to the group, and the new director of national intelligence, John Ratcliffe, also shares a link. CNET senior producer Dan Patterson joins CSNBC to discuss. Well, I don't want to hear them just discussing. So we know what that's about. We know that it's a hit piece, and we know why. So let's go back and go on. And now we are here. We're on drop 4334. Italy's 96%, or Italy, 96% of coronavirus fatalities had other chronic illnesses. And it says the more you know. So let's go out to here. And here, Lisa May says, Dems and the mainstream media need to continue pushing their "we're all going to die" narrative to keep people afraid of heading to the polls in November. The latest numbers show that new cases and fatalities have a common profile, mostly elderly people with previous illnesses. So let's go here. And this is where Q is directing us. Italy, 96% of coronavirus fatalities had other chronic illnesses. Rome, the overwhelming majority of deaths with coronavirus in Italy have occurred in the presence of 2 or more serious chronic illnesses, according to a report from the country's National Health Authority. Italian health authorities announced in a recent report that only 4.1% of fatalities testing positive for Wuhan CV happened in the absence of serious comorbidities, while the average age of the deceased was over 80 years. The average number of comorbidities among all Italian deaths with the CV was 3.1. Just 15% of fatalities occurred with the presence of just one other serious pathology, while 21.4% died with 2 other pathologies and 59.6% with 3 or more pathologies. The most common comorbidities were arterial hypertension in 68.3% of cases, type 2 diabetes, 30.1% of cases, ischemic heart disease in 28.2%, arterial fibrillation, 22.5%, chronic renal failure, 20.4%. So, and it shows the report also revealed an average age of 81 among those who have died with CV in Italy. One of the most astonishing findings of the report was that only 1.1% of all CV deaths in the country happened to people below the age of 50, while more than 57% were over 80. The latest numbers show that new cases and fatalities have a common profile, mostly elderly people with previous illnesses, said ISS President Silvio Brusaferro at a news conference Friday. As of May 26th, the number of active cases of CV in Italy had fallen to 52,942. The total number of deaths with the disease with the disease have been 32,955, while total recorded cases stand at 230,555. This week, Spain had to revise down its official death count for CV by nearly 2,000 after discovering a series of reporting errors and duplications. The Spanish Health Ministry announced Monday that it has removed 1,918 spurious deaths from the official death toll, representing a 7% drop in the total deaths reported. So, yeah. All right. And that's the wrong place. We don't want to go there. We want to go here. Okay, and we are moving on now. And I'm going to stop soon and pick up because we are, let me see here. We are at 1 hour and 1 minute. I don't really want to go much over an hour because it people's eyes start to cross and, you know. All right, let's go back real quick. Okay, so drop 4335, quarantine versus tyranny. And we've heard this before. Quarantine is when you restrict the movement of sick people. Tyranny is when you restrict the movement of healthy people. Q. So true. And that's exactly what we're seeing. Tyranny. Okay. And this, we are at drop 4336. And actually, we're going to stop there because we have just come into the 28th of May. So I'm going to stop there. And it's a great place to stop. And I will pick up. I'm going to just upload this video and come back immediately to record. I do want to finish. I am committed to finishing and catching us up with the Q posts tonight. All right. So thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate it. And that's it. I will see you guys in a little bit. So that's, I never know how to end. Maybe I should just keep going. Anyway, let's end there and get ready for the next video, and I will see you guys in a bit. Take care, stay safe, and keep seeking truth.